Hey guys, MCU Collector here with the next video on the Hasbro Marvel Legends Series Retro X-Men Wave. Here we have Iceman. Pretty cool looking figure. We already got one not long ago. Well, it's been a couple years now, I guess, in the Juggernaut wave. So I'll do a comparison with this guy, with this new one. I think I'm going to like this new one more, although this one is still pretty cool in my book. So we'll get right to it. You can see it says Ice Slide, so that's the accessory and the effect piece that he comes with. So it's cool that he came with something. And then Uncanny X-Men Marvel 80 years. Here's a look at the back of the package. We get an outline of the figure, all the figures in the wave. Let's take a look at that bio. Iceman. Iceman has the mutant ability to turn himself into a being of living ice. Once he does that, he can create almost anything he wants. Ice slides, ice weapons, ice shields, not to mention icicles and snowballs. That's pretty cool, and then we only get an ice slide. So it would have been cool to come with some ice weapons, but hey, we get something. Let's open it up and take a look. Okay, and here is Iceman out of the package. He's got some pretty cool things to him. The ice slide is pretty cool that we get something. The colors don't match to it, so it seems kind of odd to me that they would put the bluish tint in the ice slide, but not in the figure itself to kind of make it look like he is ice, because to me this doesn't necessarily scream ice, although it of course works. That's why I kind of always like the blue tint of this one, because it just kind of gave it that look. But of course it does look like it could be ice. It's just that I kind of wish the slide would have been the same color, but pretty cool. Now, because you guys know that I'm a big time amateur when it comes to posing around figures and doing those sorts of things, so I'm not sure the best way to utilize this slide. But those of you guys that do a lot of figure photography and do all kinds of dynamic poses, I'm sure it won't be a problem for you guys. For me, I just don't really know what to do with it. The cool thing is, though, it does have a peg, so you can actually port in one of the feet onto that peg. And there's some good sculpting detail into it, so I really like that. You know, you got some shards of ice that kind of come up and stuff. It looks pretty cool. So it's just kind of a hollow piece a little bit, and it stands. It's not too flimsy, just a little over here where it gets real thin. It could be a little flimsy, but it's pretty solid, so no complaints with it. But you guys will have to kind of test out which way it'll work best for you and, you know, utilizing it. Okay, so we'll get to the figure. Let's take a closer look at this guy. Okay, and here's Iceman up close. So it's a little bit bright because I got him close to some lights. So he's not going to really look this bright in hand, but he does look good. So he's kind of looks silverish, but he's not really silver. There's really no paint to the figure. It's all just in the color of the plastic, which is kind of like a... it's hard to describe it. I mean, you could see it. It's not, I wouldn't call it silver. It's not silver. It's not really the pearlescent white. It's kind of like a silvery white. It's hard to explain, but you can kind of see it. But again, there's no paint on the figure. And it's not really translucent, although it's done with an almost clear plastic throughout. The harder plastic pieces like the torso and the hip joints you can see are semi-translucent, but it's kind of hard to tell. But we got all that marbleization going on, the same that we see with like a lot of metallic color plastic. We kind of see that throughout. So it's almost like a glittery look to it as well. You can see that we're using the Spider-Man 2099 body mold, which is nice. We get this X-Men belt here. It's just done in a white color and then black X. That's the only paint on the entire figure. Oh, except for white on his eyes. And it's done very cleanly, so I really like that. Pretty good figure. No complaints. You can kind of see it throughout. There's not a whole lot going on there. The head sculpt I do like, and what I like is that it's not completely like rounded out or anything. He's got some flat areas, so to make it look like, you know, it's made of ice. One thing that you'll notice on the back of the card is they actually, when they do the outline of it, you could see some of those areas where it was kind of flattened out to show that he's like kind of, you know, a piece of ice. And that is actually the case in the head sculpt. So I like that Hasbro did that. So that is pretty cool. It is a very different head sculpt than what we got previously in the Juggernaut wave, which is here. You can see two very different, very, 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 very different. One thing to note on mine, and it's going to be hard to see with these bright lights, but with the marbleization, I have a line that comes straight down his face. and let's see, you can't see it here. Maybe you can kind of see it there. It looks odd, but I actually end up liking the way it looks because it kind of gives it that ice look. Because, you know, when you look at a piece of ice, it's not, you know, completely clear or anything. It's a little cloudy looking. So it actually works in this figure's favor. If it was a different figure, it would probably bother me a little bit because it's so noticeable, but I like the way it looks on this guy. Okay, let's check out his articulation. Okay, so the articulation for Iceman. So he can look down, which is great. He can look all the way up, so awesome there. Of course, you get full swivel. There is some head tilt and pivot in the neck there. Shoulders can go up very high on this guy. There, it is the all-new, all-different Spider-Man 2099 body, so we get the butterfly joint so he can get his arm to go in that much, and then you can get it to go back that much, so great range of motion in that butterfly joint there. There is an upper bicep swivel, double jointed elbow, swivel at the wrist, and hinge, same on both sides. Both hands are fists. Ab crunch, he can crunch down that much forward, so great motion in the ab crunch, going back that much. There is a waist swivel there. The belt does not get in the way with that, but you could always adjust it up and down if need be. Legs go out that far apart. You can kick forward that much. Can kick back slightly, not a whole lot. There's an upper thigh cut there. Double jointed knee. Boot swivel at mid calf range. Foot hinges down. Hinges up, and there is ankle pivot, and then actually there you could really see the translucentness of the leg because you can actually see that hinge joint in there. So very good articulation on Iceman. Now let's see him compared to the Juggernaut Wave Iceman. Okay, and here are the two Iceman figures side by side. Now, there have been other multiple Iceman figures in the past. There is another one by Hasbro that's, I guess, maybe 5 or 6 years old at this point. It was the, I just talked about this in the Cyclops video, the all-new X-Men 5-pack box set that was exclusive to Toys R Us. It also had an Iceman in that utilized an old Toy Biz body mold, and it was basically just an all-white figure. These are completely different, so all three are completely different. The new one is, I would say, the more classic look, or Jim Lee style from the 90s. This one, I think, was a more modern take, where actually he looks a little bit younger. He's got a lot of sharp edges and stuff because of the ice. I like this body more, but I prefer this look for Iceman. I just think it's a very unique look and makes him really look like ice, whereas this one, it just not as much to me. It's still good, but I like this one. I like the blue tint to it. This one I think would have been great with a little bit of blue in it as well. The slide can work for either because it's kind of in between the both of them there. But again, this will be my go-to Iceman figure. The only problem with this one is because it's all translucent plastic, he is very gummy and sometimes he wants to fall over and can be difficult to stand and things like that. I know a lot of people have had issues, whereas this one's definitely going to be a more solid figure, but still happy to have both of them. This will be my go-to, but this one is a very solid figure because this is one of the best body molds that Hasbro has done. But anyway, that's my review. You guys let me know down in the comments below what you guys think of this figure. Are you happy to have this version of Iceman? What do you think of this slide? Are you guys going to really be able to utilize it and do something cool with it? I know I can't. Let me know down in the comments below if you guys have any questions. Also hit me up down in the comments below. Hit that thumbs up button if you guys liked the video. And as always, thank you guys for watching.